Hello everyone, and welcome to my reaction to Chainsaw Man episode. I have hiccups. Episode 8. I have some things that I want to talk about after last week's episode or regarding last week's episode, but I think it will be more interesting or more. Let's get started. We see how it goes, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Everything. I hope my hiccups go away quickly. I have some water. But yeah, I guess I'm supposed to drink that upside down or something. Imagine wanting like cold, refreshing water and then beer. Ugh. It's like expecting milk and then orange juice hits your mouth. It's shocking.
そういや君、マキマさんのことラブでしょ。
グラグラする。
あんなクソ女やめときゃいいのに。もう、アキくんもあんな照れちゃってさ。もう牛。しちゃう？
ちゃっていいのか。
いい子。
マキマさんとするはずだったファーストキスを。よし。
下も脱ぎましょうね。ポッケになんか入っちょるよ。チュッパチャップス？来たね。
マキマさん、俺クソみてえなファーストキスしちまいました。俺はこれからいろんな女性とキスをしてもきっとキスのたびに。
To be fair, I know that was so traumatizing, but give it to a year or two. I don't think you'll think about it that often. I mean, I rarely think about my first kiss on this. It is brought up like this now. When I think about the kissing, I think about my first kiss with the person I'm currently with, which was amazing. I rarely remember my first kiss. Yes, it was not as traumatizing as Denji's. But, I mean, I've thrown up before, but I don't remember how it tasted. I just know, ugh. You know, I know he had someone else's throw up in his mouth, but I think in the year or two, and the ones he's had some good kisses. I think. But for him right now, I think this is like, the worst thing ever. Shame.
口開けて。
Think about that taste.
多分一生ゲロの味は忘れられないよ。でも大丈夫。
悪いな、ポチタ。お前もエッチしたかったろ。でも俺、初めてはマキマさんがいいんだ。
デンジ君、昨日の夜私酔ってて何も覚えてないんだけど、私に乱暴なことされなかった？
誰がゲロ女とやっかよ。俺は初めてはマキマさんって決めたんだ。
ああ、よかったよかった。未成年に手出したら逮捕だからね。逮捕。
See, this is what I wanted to bring up. I'll just briefly mention it now. A lot of people said, oh, in Japan, the age of consent is 13, the age of consent is 13. As if it's fine for her to do it with him, which is not true. To be fair, I had to go look it up and ask my friend Yuki as well, and I talked to some other people who had more information. But I knew like age of consent 13, like, oh, 21-year-olds can sleep with 13-year-olds. That does not make sense in a country like Japan. Like, and to people who parroted it as a defense of her actions, it seems a bit like it comes across from an ignorant like it comes from an ignorant place, the way that it was said 9 out of 10 times. And like I said, it's not like I wasn't ignorant, but I didn't like spout it to everyone like, oh, she's fine because the age of consent is 13. Like, that's not how it works. It's like, if I'm saying it correctly, the penal law may say that the age of consent is 13, but each prefecture has its own rules. And Yuki herself didn't even know about the penal law because it's accepted that 18 is the age of consent. That penal law that says 13, it's more like if a 14-year-old wants to sleep with a 13-year-old, technically they could, but that's only the penal law, not the prefectural laws. It doesn't mean, even the penal law doesn't say like, oh, a 17-year-old can sleep with a 12-year-old, I mean a 13-year-old. That's not the case. So I think that people who are not from Japan shouldn't be speaking on these things if they know very little about it. You can't just Google what is the age of consent in Japan and see 13 and then accept that as true when it's such an absurd fact. Even if it, like, look a little bit more into it rather than just Googling and checking the first line that you see is what I'm saying. Talk to someone about it. It's very easy nowadays to find Japanese fans. I'm lucky that I have a friend I could ask, but the person who talked to me about the penal law thing was just someone in my Patreon comment section. It wasn't the Japanese person. So of course I decided to look into it more. But yeah, you can't, as a whatever year old, 18, 19, 20-year-old, sleep with someone that's underage. And yeah, it's not a defense. I don't really care with this whole vomit kiss thing. A kiss is like, I'm not saying that you should be allowed to kiss underage people, of course not, but they were all like in public and it was like, and he wanted a kiss and it was like, bleh, and like nothing. But then when it became this, she took him away, and then they, because of her drunkenness, they almost slept together, like that shit. Luckily nothing happened, but it's definitely weird. You have to admit that it's weird. But the only reason I'm not gonna be too hard on her as a character is because I don't want to know the trauma that she herself has went through. But that doesn't, even if someone has been through trauma, that doesn't mean you can put someone else through. You can't do bad things to underage people just because, oh, you went through trauma, but nothing happened. So I'm not gonna like, so, but definitely walking away with him was weird, and the fact that other people let her do that was kind of, but I guess they trusted her. But she would have slept with him if he allowed it, but thankfully he thought of Makima, and I mean she's not the best like example. But at least it stopped him and it stopped something happening. So that's about as much as I'll say about that. It doesn't matter too much more because nothing happened. So you did make a move, but there's the catch. Cute! So yeah, let me just recap quickly. It's not that I dislike her or anything. I don't think what she did was okay, but I can only overlook it because the wild world that they live in, her own trauma, his own actions, like, but his own actions doesn't really matter because he's freaking 16. But I didn't know until last week that he was 16. I didn't even think about that. But mainly they're fictional, and it's like, it's not my kid, so if this was a real situation, it would obviously be much different. It's very difficult though with a kiss, and thankfully nothing happened. Okay, let's move on.
昨日のお酒美味しかった。
No way.
こちら C 班、こちら C 班、開始。
No way. There's no way a character as popular as her dies in episode 8. Like, I'm sorry, but from the very beginning, people have been cosplaying her, drawing her, and those posts blow up. So you know she's popular. And wildly so, and very controversial. Some people strongly dislike her, but the majority of people love her. And they can't so strongly love or dislike her based on these 8 episodes. So there has to be more. She's not dead. Well, that was nicely done. The gun devil wants your heart. So obviously this is all leading back to Pochita. Even with the last demon.
私の口にとんでもないものを入れてきたね。人でも悪魔でもない。
パワー、姫野先輩の血を止めてろ。
Isn't this what he wasn't supposed to? Whoa.
ひとまず姫野先輩の治療は。
呪いの悪魔。その持っている釘を何回か刺したら死ぬみたいな感じか。じゃあさっさと殺して。
No, 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 no. Them some brook moves. Denji.
私はいいから、アキ君を助けて。
Oh no. Oh no. Is she sacrificing herself?
キ君は泣くことができる。でもアキ君はすぐ泣く。面倒見てた新人が死んだ時なんかは隠れて泣いていたから面白かった。あれだけ思って泣いてもらえたら嬉しいだろうな。
Oh no. Well, that is... The thing that comes to my mind is just... That's the kind of show this is, isn't it? I don't think anyone else is dead, but she's dead. She's literally, her whole body is gone. That's very sad. But she loved him that much, and she'd seen so much death before that, I think she didn't even hesitate. The only thing she could think of was saving him. Wow, the author also really knows how to write some complex characters, right? It's an interesting topic. Like it brings up so many interesting topics. But like I said, halfway through the reaction, I'm not gonna blah blah blah. Like, nothing happened, so thankfully nothing happened. So we don't have to take into consideration, oh, but she, you know. A lot of people were saying, what if the roles reversed? What if it was a guy that took home an underage girl? Like, let's say, I don't know how old she was, but what if it was a 21-year-old guy that took home a 16-year-old girl? And the problem with that is, up until that point, they didn't know how old Denji was, right? So it makes it very difficult to discuss. Ignorance is not like, you can't say, oh, well, you didn't know they were underage, so... But the thing is, or let's put it like this. You can't say, oh, I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to kill anyone, and so I killed someone, and... But this wasn't killing someone. She went home with a guy that had expressed multiple times that he wants to do edgy things, right? But he's 16, and as far as I remember, she found out while fucked drunk that he was 16. So I don't know if she even registered. So, but let's reverse let's say all of that happened, but a guy took home a girl, and all the friends let the guy do that, all the co-workers, and the worst part, this girl has no parents or anything. This girl is basically, like, in our country, there are many kids raising their siblings because their parents died. Like, technically, sadly, that kid is in control of their own decisions, because, with the exception, obviously the bigger discussion is that Denji shouldn't even be doing all the stuff because he's underage. But he's an orphan, and the government has their mitts all over him, and they don't care about his health and well-being. They just care about using him. So honestly, the biggest issue here is that, and that's a whole other discussion, and it's just such a discussion that brings up so many real world issues and sadness and hopelessness her Himeno, her actions is the least of my concerns, because nothing ended up happening, because Denji said no. The thing is, there's not much we can do when any 16-year-old chooses to sleep with a 21-year-old. Like, I dated a guy that was a lot older than me. We didn't sleep together, but I mean, I dated him. My parents didn't say anything. But they also knew, like, it's not serious or something. But I mean, and also I was not the kind of person that was sexually active or something. And my parents knew that. But I dated a guy, I was 15. I dated a guy that was 20. And we kissed. And I'm sure if I wanted to at the time hook up with him, I could have. But I didn't. So my point is, like, that doesn't make these things right or wrong. I'm just saying, if we how to say, judge each thing on a case-by-case basis. Because in the real world, we have to have laws and stuff in general to... Because the sad thing is that we can't deal with every little case and look into, especially when it comes to sexual relations. You don't know what happened behind closed doors. So I want to make sure that my discussion here is not necessarily how I would feel about different real world cases, because it's so difficult to, with sexual relations, discern what's the truth between what someone claims or is being accused of. It's all very complex. But in this case, we could see right into their room. We could see how things were handled. We could see that she offered him something that he wanted and had said he wanted. But when he said no, she didn't push any further. So, by my understanding of the story of these people, she was not a bad person. She was in love with Aki. She herself was traumatized and she was drunk, and I'm not sure she was aware of Denji's age. I don't know. When did she start drinking, and when did he say how old he is? I don't remember. But fact of the matter is that nothing happened, and she's a good person, and she was in love with Aki, and they had that whole freaking moment where they were like, we're friends now and let's help each other. That was so nice. And it's just so sad that after, we're just getting to know her better. And the thing is, you can't be sad for a person. Like, it's sad when a person dies, yes. But she chose to die for him, and now I'm sad for him because he has to live with that. Like, it's the people that are left behind that have to suffer, right? Those who die, we don't know what happens to them. I'm willing to bet they don't. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate about what happens after death. But I don't think she's either not in non-existence, not feeling anything. But he has to now live knowing that she sacrificed her life. I'm sure he'll be okay, but I feel bad for Aki too. I wonder if Denji will tell him that she had feelings for him. I wonder if he knew. I doubt it though. But I don't think anyone else died, but I don't know. I'm not going to read any comments because too spoilery. I feel so sad. I feel like we were just, like, there was all these interesting conversations that I feel like we were going to have, and now it's just like, I don't even know what to say. I have no words. I have things I want to say, but like, it just doesn't feel important. That was a very good episode. I think the author's writing is really good, but also like, it felt so, but that's what I was supposed to feel like, just suddenly. It was so, and then it's over, and then she's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was purposefully done that way. So I don't know, but it was amazing. It was so unexpected because the beginning of the episode was so like laid back, and I was like, I feel like we were getting closer with everyone was getting closer to each other, and I was getting closer with them and learning more, and like story 9.5, characters 9.5, visuals 9, audio 9, enjoyment / investment 9.5. Yeah, like that was I don't see flaws except that hello, I wasn't ready. That's not a flaw. I just feel like it was so intriguing with everyone and the guns, and then suddenly and the gun devil is after your heart. And are they dead? Are they not dead? Why are they being targeted? It's because they're linked to Denji, who's linked physically to Pochita. Like, what? It was really amazing, actually. And I'm sure that there's a lot of conversations, a lot of thoughts going through your mind right now that you want to share, ask. And I'd love to, like, I feel like this would be kind of the perfect time to do like a live stream and talk about it. But it's too risky because spoilers, for the first time in a while since the last season of Attack on Titan, people have been actively trying to spoil me by like in live streams and stuff. My mods have had their job cut out for them. Thanks to them to keep me safe, for keeping me safe. But yeah, please, I'd love to talk more about this, but it just feels like right now I feel like stumped, and I want to hear your thoughts first, and then like, you know, that kind of feedback and back and forth, a discussion. Like, it's so difficult to have a discussion after what happened when there's no one to discuss it with, and it's just me here with my thoughts and like, what just happened? I don't know what happened. We were shown like a flaw in someone, but the kind of error, like most of us at some point in our lives make an almost mistake, and an almost big mistake. The one thing I bring up a lot, because to me it was a very I have brought this up before, I mean, where I was working at like a carpet place. It was basically, they do carpets, and I don't know if they did insurance, but basically I just did cleaning and some extra stuff because I needed a job, and someone that I knew them, and she was like, do you have a job for this girl? And I was like, okay, thank you. And they, at some point I had to work with files and stuff and do things, and there was a lot of money that I had to deal with. Not like a lot, but a couple of $100 maybe. And I remember it was like I had rent to pay, I had food that I needed to buy, I had things that, like, you know, bills. And I remember looking at the money and thinking, I could steal this, and it would help me, and that they wouldn't notice. Like, just $20, just $30. And literally that, it wasn't like I wanted to steal hundreds of dollars, just like $20, $30. But I didn't. I closed it, and I was like, mainly what made me close it was like, what if you get caught? What do you say? How do you feel? Like, and I was like, no. This would just be horrible. I didn't think like, oh no, it's wrong to steal. That wasn't my main motivation, even though now, of course, but in that moment of very, very weakness, my main motivation for not doing it was, I don't want to be caught out, you know? Like, how would I feel? Then I wouldn't have the job, and in the long run, I would have less money. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, it was that. But now, of course, and always, I knew stealing is wrong, but like I said, moment of weakness. So my point is, we all have a moment in our lives, or many moments, where we've almost done something really bad. And I've talked about this before with Attack on Titan videos. For me, there's a to explain my feelings on these things, I do kind of like a scale of goodness and badness. Like no one is purely good, no one is purely evil, but each action, each person falls somewhere on that scale potentially, and the scale only exists. The concept of goodness and badness we've created so that we can coexist in a society safely, right? Because out there in the wild, if the lion kills the deer, the lion is not the good guy or the bad guy, and the deer is not the, it's just nature. But we are not animals, and we have critical thinking, and we want to live in society, so we create these concepts so that we can coexist. Anyway, so because of all of that, I created this scale to just explain my feelings. And there's a certain point on the scale where for me, people are irredeemable, where they're a danger not only to themselves, but to society and to our coexistence, safe coexistence. So yeah, after a certain point, they kind of cross the, like, let's say, I should have a freaking card, because I keep drawing this on so many pages of my, I don't know, I wish I had, this is probably like a new, maybe there is there a scale here? Aha, have I drawn it? Is it this? I don't know. Probably this was a, oh yeah, it is, because right and wrong. But I mean, goodness, badness, there's a scale. Here's the middle point where I think most of us fall around here. Like, just know we're not super good, we're not super bad, we're just people trying to exist, get by, and whatever. This is the right side, or the good side. And so each action you can put somewhere on the scale, but each person you might also be able to put somewhere on the scale. But no one is completely right or good. No one is completely evil or wrong. Like, this is more like actual demons and shit, the devil or whatever, and angels and God, like whether or not you believe in those. That's more like what would fall there, right? Saints, I don't know. But most people, you know, we step into here, but we're generally redeemable. We can atone, we can be redeemed, but after a certain point, like, let's say this is the, after a certain point, like, if she had slept with Denji, there's things that you can argue. In the real world, as I said, it's more difficult to argue these things because of what happens behind the closed doors. We can never know for sure unless there's proof, and if it's one person's word against the other, you're always gonna, the child is the most important, the underage person. As a society, that is what we need to protect more than anything and anyone, is our children. Because, well, I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but obviously for me it's obvious. So you're always going to take the steps that will most protect the child. But in this case with Denji, we were there, and we know nothing happened, and we know so many other things regarding the situations and the situation, what led to it, and about these both people that were involved, and the greater bad that is this whole organization that is using a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old. So knowing all of that, the whole point that I'm trying to make here is that she did nothing wrong, and she was a good person. And it's really sad that after everything she's been through, she couldn't get even a kiss or a first moment or a chance to confess, rather. I wouldn't say kiss because it depends if he liked her, Aki. But my point is, she didn't even get a moment to tell him how she feels after all of that. So it makes me really sad. But on the other hand, I think that there is no... If you could ask her, like, oh, how would you want to die? I think if anyone could talk about and think about stuff like that, that is what she would have wanted. You know, there's no better way for her as an individual. Not like she would have wanted. She wanted to save him. She wanted to save him, and that makes her also a pretty amazing character. You know, she did, of course, not last week, but the week before, I think. She did want to sacrifice Denji, but she didn't want to immediately. It was more like on their last legs. And in her mind, it was either Aki or Denji. So it was like kind of Sophie's choice situation. And of course, then she's going to choose like Aki. So I can't really be mad at her. Just like I couldn't blame the others for their feelings and stuff. Yeah, I was angry because, like I said, my favorite character. Don't kill him. But, yeah. So, yeah, 9.3 for me and some ramblings. There you go. Feel free to ask your questions, share your thoughts, and then hopefully next week we can talk more about it, or I can just reply in the comments. But I think it was a fantastic episode. And gives rise to some very interesting discussions and thoughts and potentials for whatever happens in the story from here on. So let's see. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.